What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and we're here for episode part 8, whatever you want to call it, for our flashback rebuild of the Oakland Raiders. We are now here live at the first overall pick. We have to wait a bit till 27 in the 2016 NFL Draft. This is the draft. Quick refresher: Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Joey Bosa, Zeke Elliott, Jalen Ramsey, Ronnie Stanley, DeForest Buckner, Jack Conklin. Pretty much maybe like the best top 10 in recent memory. Like, I think this top 10, and well, more so the first top 8, and obviously you want, as of late, Goff, Wentz, and Zeke Elliott are not, in the best shape. But I think generally, looking back at all the careers so far, this has probably been the best top 10 for any of the draft classes that we've been able to re-experience here in this series. However, knowing where we're at, we're gonna be picking much closer to the bottom end of the first round. So let's introduce, some early second round talents. Derrick Henry will be there. Sterling Sharp, Xavier Howard, Chris Jones, Miles Jack, Hunter Henry, Jalen Smith. We got a couple first rounders. Again, you got to remember that these ratings, all of the first round ratings and all of the premier players have their accurate Madden rookie ratings from, so this would have been Madden 17? I think 16 or 17, it would have been Madden 17. So whatever, for example, Jalen Smith's rating was as a rookie in Madden 17, that is his rating here in these draft classes. So, more so looking at the bottom end of that first round, Darren Lee, Will Fuller, Josh Doxson, Laquan Treadwell, man, he was hyped up coming in out of that college craft. Ryan Kelly, Keanu Neal, Taylor Decker, Laramie Tunsil maybe could slip. I don't know. He's probably not going to have the bong mask incident. So let's just get right into this draft, fellas. Let's get to our pick at 27. Hopefully we can make a good one. All right, so here's our draft board here now at pick 27 of realistic players I think should have been the big board here. Kind of dispelling the secondary. Again, I can think back to how I evaluated this draft class. I did not have Xavier Howard as high because Baylor was terrible at defense. I thought Artie Burns was a little bit overrated. I did like actually Mackenzie Alexander out of all these guys as the slot from Clemson, but we don't need a slot corner right now. Miles Jack was a first-round talent, but slipped due to injury. I thought Darren Lee was slightly overrated. I honestly was shocked Chris Jones went this high. Now, I'm not always right. Chris Jones is a bona fide top 5 D tackle in the NFL. Wasn't he the guy whose bird slipped out during the 40 at the combine? Can't remember. But looking at this board, I would say Derrick Henry, Will Fuller, Josh Garnett, Miles Jack would have been probably my big board. So looking at where we are as a team, Miles Jack is a right outside linebacker. Garnett's a right guard, Will Fuller at wide receiver, and Derrick Henry at running back. So looking at where our squad is at running back, see, my point is we have Dre Archer, who, he is what he is. He's a gadget player. But my biggest worry is Gary McFadden is 29. 91, 92, probably 93 at the most will be his peak, and it's going to be the downfall. So we have, 3 years left of this rebuild? Is Darren McFadden going to be our workhorse for the next 3 years? Because if not, we have the Heisman Trophy winner still available at running back on the board, and obviously in hindsight, we know that is going to be a hell of a pick. As far as guard is concerned for Garnett, we're good with Brooks and Dukas, so that kind of eliminates him off the board. Speedster at wide receiver, we're good at wide out. Darius Hayward-Bay, one of the best deep threats in the NFL. Golden Tate for one of the best slot options, and Lewis Murphy's a hell of a route runner. We have Darren Waller down here too, so wide receiver doesn't really make that much of a need. So when it comes to right outside linebacker, where much like Derrick Henry, we need an upgrade here. It's really down to Miles Jack and Derrick Henry. And understanding where our team is at, we have the X factor here. He's older, it's more of a priority, but it's one of those things. Thomas Howard's still one of the game changers on our defense. It's also the optics that we went first round outside linebacker last year's draft. Even though it did pan out, Shaq Thompson was a superstar dev, and then he ended up achieving the X factor in the offseason for his dev trait. I just think the optics of going back to back at linebacker might not make the most sense. So when you're in a position where you have almost a 30-year-old running back and the Heisman Trophy winner is still on the board, and we know what little hindsight we can apply to this pick, we are making the selection of Derrick Henry, running back from Alabama. Now he's a 74 overall hidden dev. We could probably assume that dev trait's going to be pretty nice. As you look at the stats here, the speed, it doesn't have breakaway speed, but 90 carry and 89 trucking. 83 strength, 85 break tackle. The catching is pretty harsh. 49 is not the best. Again, trying to find it and follow as accurate ratings as we possibly can. 74 is, we'll take it. Now that we're into the second round, we need the best linebacker available. I was thinking that there was a slight chance that Miles Jack still would be here. But all we have is edge rushers. Calhoun, Fackrell, 3-4 linebackers. Left outside, Dodd, edge rusher, Correa. All these guys are 3-4s. Now, we do have Dion Jones on the board, who I thought after his combine, when you saw the fact that he was the fastest linebacker in the class, the writing's on the wall. Like, this is where you make the decision of like, all right, the NFL's going to a different style of linebacker. And Dion Jones, I was screaming for Philadelphia to draft him. And he went to the Atlanta Falcons at the top end of that draft. So the fact that we have the number 6 pick in the second round, desperately need a linebacker that can be groomed, can sit behind Thomas Howard. Dion Jones makes the most sense. 71 hidden dev, number 55 in true value, get him at 38, 87 speed, 89 acceleration. Absolutely can be the successful heir to Thomas Howard. Draft recap time. Pretty solid draft. I mean, I made a couple picks that I remember of players that I was pretty high on during this draft, but we saw Derrick Henry, we saw Dion Jones, whose rating when we move into right outside linebacker should shoot up 72, 73, maybe even 74. I'm not sure. But usually when you move a middle linebacker to outside linebacker, their rating goes up, and he's a 75. Andrew Billings, I got him D-tackle out of Baylor. I thought I had him as a first rounder, and the fact that he was still there for us in the second round is solid value. We got Isaac Seumalo at center. He's going to be a backup center to Samson Satella. We got Daryl Worley, who I actually think eventually ended up on the Raiders last year, a year or two ago. He's 67 normal. We got Rashard Robinson, 68 normal corner from LSU. We only had 3 corners on the roster, so we're adding some depth there. The best kicker, the most hyped up kicker since probably Sebastian Janikowski, Roberto Aguayo. Didn't grab him in the second round like the Tampa Bay Bucks did in real life. He was still there in the 5th round, so I was like, hell yeah, 74 hidden dev for Roberto Aguayo. Hopefully his brain doesn't get all wires crossed and stuff like that, and he can actually turn into a really solid NFL kicker. We got Jeff Driscoll as our backup, former Florida Gator quarterback by way of Louisiana Tech, and then I just got Roy Robertson Harris, who we're actually going to kick into defensive tackle with our final selection, as I was able to trade our 7th round pick, because our board was depleted, for a 7th round pick in the 2017 draft class. But very happy with this draft. Derrick Henry, Dion Jones, Roberto Aguayo. It looks pretty good. Now let's execute here in the upcoming season. So we're here now in the 2016 season with our 90 overall Raiders squad, 93 offense, 88 defense. When you look at the offense, not a whole lot has changed. We did a quick preview when we were looking at the draft. But here is our squad. Derrick Henry will now act as our starting power back. RB2. No other changes to the offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, just added depth, right? Dion Jones going to be groomed behind Thomas Howard. Hopefully he can learn a thing or two, because he most likely will be a starter for us next season. Daryl Worley might get some snaps as a rookie as well, even though Robinson is higher. Let's just put Robinson a spot there higher. Specialist, yeah, we're just going to put Derrick Henry at power back. Lewis Murphy. I have an option to put Darren Waller at slot, but it's not time to unleash Darren Waller just yet. Shaq Thompson will be our starting sub linebacker over the veteran Howard. Just get some youth, some fresh legs out there. We'll have Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins as our slot corner. We are looking to defend our AFC West title. 10 wins a year ago. I just can't see any regression. We need to be a 9-10 win team minimum from here on out. Alrighty, 2 hours later, the 2017 draft class has been completed, and it's a good draft class. Myles Garrett, we got great quarterbacks after Mitchell Trubisky, to Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Taysom Hill's there as the UDFA, Chad Swag Kelly. This is also a very, very, very good, not you, draft class for running backs. Kareem Hunt, Kamara, Mixon, Cook, McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, James Conner, Tariq Cohen, Jamal Williams, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, pretty much Chris Carson. Anybody but Donnell Pumphrey's probably the guy you need to pick. Good wide receivers, too. Corey Davis, Mike Williams, John Ross, Zay Jones, Curtis Samuel, Juju, Cooper Kupp, Kenny Galladay, Chris Godwin, Dede Westbrook. Just to name a few as we go through it here. Offensive line, it's okay. Not amazing offensive line depth. The D-line, there was a lot of perceived talent. Myles Garrett, generational player. So we'll just quickly scout him. No chance in hell he'll be on the board when it comes time for us to pick. But it is what it is. TJ Watt, too, another fringe. Oh my God, only a second round. Again, we're using the Madden 18 rookie ratings. So that's kind of where we're at. I think we should scout corner because it's only a matter of time until we see some regression from either Branch or Mitchell at safety that we're going to want to kick Honey Badger back to safety. So that is going to free up an opening with Darius Slay, with Jack Rabbit, Janoris Jenkins in the cornerback spot. I think that's probably the position we're going to hopefully land one of these guys, one of these top 5, even Kevin Cake, Sidney Jones, Gator Bias and me, probably, we know those guys kind of sucked, unfortunately. Good safeties too, Malik Hooker, Buda Baker, Marcus May. For whatever reason, the custom draft class has like the wrong Marcus Williams picture. That's not the, it's the New Orleans Saints Marcus Williams, but it is what it is. We'll just act like he decided to grow his hair out, because I'm actually pretty sure he's like bald or buzz cut. Jamal Adams, Jabril Peppers, Obi Melifanu destroyed the combine. You get Eddie Jackson there at safety. It's a really, really strong draft class on both sides of the ball, as long as we can navigate the waters. But it'll be interesting to see where we can pick. 1 and 2 through 3 weeks is not where we want to be, but hopefully we can capitalize on that 38-10 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs and get back on track here to winning and defending our divisional title. I want a game to hop in, kind of a different opponent, just at least with outside the division, and I want a winnable game because we need to go to 4 and 2. So hey, why not pick on the 1 and 4 Green Bay Packers? Just do that. We'll just do that in the first play of the game. Pretty much Tyreek Hill. Pretty much Tyreek Hill. All right, now, I thought this first play was going to be like, all right, we're going to drop 60 points on them. I've had 3 3-and-outs. They've been shutting down Hayward Bay, and I think they're not going to let us have that deep ball. Let's just see what we can do here. Oh, B! 2 toes in! 2 toes! Oh, I didn't get it. Oh no, right before half. Oh no. Oh my God. We're going to try to break records here today, fellas. Ooh, a little bit of Derrick Henry action. He's not going to get a whole lot of action, but he's going to get a little bit. We go big run, D-Mac. Run DMC 50 yards, not using him a whole lot. But when we do, he's effective. No. Oh, no. C4 special. Oh, no. Oh. C4 special Derrick Henry. That's a weapon that we're just starting to realize the potential as we go ahead here in the third quarter. Clay Matthews with the sack. Remember Clay Matthews being a thing? 3rd and 16, needs some points to kind of feel confident here. We got Darius Hayward Bay in the slot. That's obviously going to be our read. Play action. They don't really buy on it, but we have a little bit of an over, for fuck's sakes. Darian Stewart with the interception. A hell of a route ran by Darius Hayward Bay. That's lame. It's over. Well, not too often we hop in and our gameplay is a losing effort, but it's always good to have a reality check now and again. Midway point of the year, let's look at our contracts as we sit 5 and 3, which is pretty solid. Darius Hayward Bay, I want him to be here for the entirety of this rebuild, so let's lock him up. Same with Darren McFadden. Things get a little bit more interesting. Because we've drafted Derrick Henry, I think it's time that we think about our options there. Weigh our options at least. Satele at center. We don't have his, we drafted Isaac Seumalo, but he's not really there. In fact, he's only for a 1-year deal. I'm sure we can hammer out a long-term extension. Honey Badger wants a 5-year deal. Absolutely, we'll pay him pretty much whatever he wants. Lewis Murphy at wide receiver. Again, kind of like Darren McFadden. A little bit of out with the old, in with the new. We have a lot of depth there. So we can spend that money elsewhere, like retaining big play Darius Slay. Like retaining Janoris Jenkins, who's been a little bit underwhelming. The fact he's only up to an 83 overall as a former first-round pick. could be better, but we'll make sure we can hammer out a deal with that. I'll keep the respect of Marcel Reese. We can't let the entirety of the old guard leave. Same with Lecter. As long as we can keep getting Shane Lecter on one-year deals, I'm fine paying him that. K1 Short will get himself a new contract. And I think looking more so at our depth, that'll probably it. So we'll get K1 Short, try to get Shane Lecter. Definitely we'll get Janoris Jenkins and Samson Satelli to re-sign. And we finished the year with an impressive 28-0 Week 17 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs to go to 11-5, win the AFC West in back-to-back years. But unfortunately, we're going to have to run the gauntlet. We start here in the wild card against the Chargers. Winner, well, actually, we're the 2 seed, so that's... Is this like the new format for sure, or is this just because of COVID? This is definitely the new format. So, I mean, it would have been way better to get the number 1 seed for the bye. Well, we're the Steelers. Like, were we close or were they like 13 wins? Oh, so we were tied and whatever reason gave them the tiebreaker. Phenomenal. We did have some hidden devs to talk about. On the offensive side of the things, we had Derrick Henry, who actually we don't know what his dev trade is yet, has not played enough snaps. I did propel him to the starting gig, getting the starter amount of touches probably the last 3-4 weeks, just because we know we're moving on from Darren McFadden. So it's, honestly, I cannot remember what his dev trade is. So we will find out. It'll be a surprise for everybody. On the defensive side of the ball, we did have a hidden dev trade for Dion Jones. And I don't know why he hasn't, well, obviously he hasn't played a whole bunch of snaps because he's been a death player, but we have no idea what Dion Jones' dev trade is. That's awesome. I would hesitate to guess we have at least one superstar of those two, but we'll have to wait and see. Derek Carr was sensational, first in the league in passing touchdowns with 41. 3,800 yards, 7... I don't know what the yards and stuff... Well, obviously, definitely not. He won't be in line for a dev trade upgrade, I don't think, because usually it's a combination of your average between yards and touchdowns, and he was 28th in yards, but I don't care. 41 touchdowns. He's already on a superstar dev. I'm fine with it. In terms of our running backs here, obviously, they both kind of shared the bulk of carries. McFadden was a little bit more effective, but shout out Marcel Reese with the 6 rushing touchdowns leading the team. However it gets done. Darius Hayward-Bay, hell of a year, 71 catches, 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. 8-6 for Tate, 7-13 for Zach Miller, like a fine wine, getting ready for year 10, playing the best football of his career. Lewis Murphy, 6-6. On the defensive side, Thomas Howard led the team with 120 tackles, 11 TFLs, and 4 sacks. We got 11.5 sacks, 12 TFLs from Aaron Donald, 9 from Ryan Kerrigan, 4 picks, Shaq Thompson, and Jack Rabbit leading the team. Offensively, a little underwhelming, 25th in terms of yards, but again, look at those yards. All it takes is to look at the 41 touchdowns for Derek Carr, as well as a top 6 defense. Yearly awards MVP went to Alex Smith, with Derek Carr and his 41 touchdowns at 8. Like, that's a little bit harsh. And the AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to RG3, Ray Maluga. Offensive Rookie went to Carson Wentz, who's doing his thing now for the New England Patriots, with Derrick Henry coming in at number 3. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Jalen Ramsey, now a member of the Buffalo Bills. And then for the rest of the individual awards, Trent Williams got Lineman of the Year. Great. I know he's now a new member of the 99 overall club. But, hell of a year. Hell of a year. And we going to have to beat the number 1 team you don't want to see in the sim to have a lengthy playoff run. But I'm confident in our squad. What do the Chargers have to offer? They got Vincent Jackson, Sean Merriman, and Phillip Rivers as their X Factors, along with Eric Weddle and Zeke Elliott as their superstars. So that is, pretty balanced. Got a good amount of offensive players, got a good amount of defensive playmakers. It's not going to be a cakewalk. But I'll tell you what, I absolutely trust our guys at home. The Oakland Raiders playing in Las Vegas, but they're still known as Oakland, against the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, come on, man, it's old man Phillip Rivers. I know he thrives in the wild card, but he's still just got to throw a costly interception at some point to Honey Badger, to Darius Slay. But it doesn't look good as we look like we're going to be entering halftime down 10. Down more than 10. Down 13. And our offense, 41 touchdowns, Derek Carr, I need to remind you. 41, and we have 2. And this is a top 6 defense giving up 47 points. 50 fucking points. I hate the sim so much. How many more days until Madden 22? Because this is brutal. I spent 2 hours making the 2017 draft class, and then the game just says, hey man, I think it's awesome, the work that you're doing. I think the fact that you're going above and beyond to try to make this broken ass shit game a little bit more tolerable to your viewers, we commend you for it. Oh yeah, here's a 50 bomb against your top 6 defense, because it's like, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter, and all of your overalls and stats are just made up. Yeah, so there had to be a pause for the offseason. We have another 99 member on our squad. First, it was Trent Williams. Now, Aaron Donald has quickly risen through the ranks. Even though he does not have that superstar dev yet, he is now up to a 99 overall. So as we enter free agency, one thing that I found very interesting is because of where we started and how far we were, we always had that when it comes to Madden ratings, like what would happen if Tom Brady lived within the Madden bubble? Because you know, in real life, these old veteran players hold on to their rating because they still are pretty good in real life. But in Madden, where you have that X amount of regression at a certain day and a certain age, look what happened to Brady at 40. He's a 73 overall. Oh, Madden, fix your regression systems. Whatever. Look at the names. There are some interesting names, more so veterans, which has kind of been the common theme here throughout free agency. Like, I haven't spent a lot of money. I think I've only signed 2 free agents so far, notable free agents anyways, for the Raiders. One was Charles Woodson for 1 year. I'm looking for depth here. We might actually get a starter in Larry Warford at left guard. He is a scheme fit 76. I got Winters at right guard, more as depth. And if I swing and miss on Warford, maybe Winters can be a plug-and-play starter, unless we can, address that spot during the draft. We got Tom Compton, just because Compton, we need a backup behind Trent Williams. And then Lindsey, as well as just depth behind Shaq Thompson at outside linebacker, and he's a scheme fit. But my God, Tom Brady, 73. There's all the proof you need that the regression system kind of sucks in Madden. We're able to land Larry Warford at guard, and absolutely going to pick up the 5th-year option on Aaron Donald, because he's Aaron Donald, and he's a 99 overall. All right, well, it's going to be a little bit until I record this next episode, so I might as well leave you guys with the who should I pick ending to this video. As we enter the draft, looking at our team needs, still could use a younger center, an upgrade at guard for sure. We can look at a running back 2. We can look at, we're pretty good at wide receiver, and I think the question is what we're doing with Darren Waller. We're going to keep him at wide open. We're going to move him to tight end. I don't know. But interior on the offensive line would be the biggest need to improve the offense. And on the defensive side, Dion Jones will get promoted there. We could we'll take Honey Badger. We're going to make this move right now. We're going to take Tyrann Mathieu, and we're going to move him to where I think he's a little bit better, and that is at the safety spot. Free or strong, for the sake of our depth chart, we'll just put him here at free safety. So that now brings a need to corner, for sure, because we have Darius Slay, which I'm fine with. We have Janoris Jenkins, who can play a slot, but we need another outside corner. We also are going to gamble at Randy Gregory. We'll be able to take over for Trevor Scott to finish this thing out, this rebuild out as a defensive end, as well as strong safety. So strong safety, corner, defensive end, interior offensive line, and then it's more so backups. And you're not going to really pick a backup in the first round. So understanding where we need... Oh my God, Deshaun Watson's there. Oh, that's good. All right, interior line. We have Dan Feeney, who we have a first-round grade, but he's only a third-rounder. We can pretty much wait there. We have Posich and Elfline as the top interior centers. Forrest Lamp. So there's no one here that we clearly should pick in the first round on the interior of the line. As far as defensive ends, we have Taco Charlton, who's a first-rounder. That's really it, unless there's an outside linebacker that's clearly just a DN. That's interesting. TJ Watt is still available. He would be a defensive end in our scheme. That's a very interesting name to consider. And then when we look into the secondary, we have Garyon Conley, Kevin King, Sidney Jones, Awuje as a first-round grade. As far as safety, we have Budda Baker, Marcus May, Marcus Williams, John Johnson, Obi Melifonwu, Eddie Jackson's a little bit later on. So, if I was just off the top of my head making a big board here for pick 24, I would say Budda Baker would be one for sure. I think Garyon Conley is another one, because he's at least a first rounder, right? TJ Watt is an incredibly difficult, because again, it's one of those things where absolutely I would be fine picking TJ Watt. If I was running the Raiders, I was a huge fan of TJ Watt coming out of Wisconsin. And I would probably make this trade. But also, you know, we have Aaron Donald. We've made a lot of strong picks in the first round. So it's all about the kind of content you want to see. Because I will say that as we go along, once we get into multiple teams and different rebuilds, we're not going to want to draft the same players every time. And as you can see, we got a lot of superstars here. And for the most part, every time we've made a big pick, it's worked out. I mean, we've taken our lumps. We got Blaine Gabbert and stuff like that high. But, yeah, I mean, I'll absolutely take TJ Watt and put him here on the defensive line. Or do we, you know, are we content with Randy Gregory and do we look at a Garyon Conley or something like that? Repeat history for the Raiders and remake that selection. So it's up to you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what player we should select at pick 24 here in the 2017 draft. I will take the top comment. I'll put it in the video, get a little bit of clout. So I'll be checking the comments for you guys later on this evening to figure out what direction we should go with this Raiders franchise. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Philadelphia Eagles main channel franchise. I also will have a video talking about the Eagles head coaching search. And sooner than later, we'll have the second college football revamped rebuild. So a lot of content coming your way. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. All I ask for is to support my channel. A thumbs up. A likes help it so much in the YouTube algorithm. And it's stupid, but it's true. And I'll see you guys back here in the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace out.